Well, alrighty then. Let's see what we've got going here. Kyle is here. Rich is here. Dave is here. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. We are limiting the viewership today, so just saying. Yes, Rich, this is live. Yeah, this is right. Kyle, I owe you an email on your Obsidian system. We've hit a few bumps in the road on that system, and I thought I had the bumps smoothed out, but one of them came back today, so we may have to replace some components. Yeah. So we are socially distancing downstream. That's right. Hello, Tim. Welcome. Glad to have you. And yeah, social distancing is kind of funny. Oh, Miranda's here and Martin's here. All right. Welcome. New Jersey is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right. Very good. So yes, we're going to talk about numbers today. Viewers, numbers of viewers. Whoa, goodness gracious. Am I keeping myself awake or asleep, as the case may be? Yup. So pretty excited about things that I have to share. Ken is watching from Australia. Holy cow, where it must be 4 in the morning. 5 in the morning, maybe. Holy cow. I'm impressed. Welcome. Glad to have you, Ken. If you're watching on Facebook, on the Streaming Idiots page, we're glad you're there, but unfortunately we can't see any of those comments through vMix Social because Facebook only allows Facebook pages to share their comments. Oh, goodness. And I guess it's some privacy settings in groups. A certain amount of privacy is expected in a group. So if you're watching on the group page, we'd love to have you come to streamingidiots.com and click the Watch Live tab and watch us directly, and you can get it on the YouTube. Final Focus is back. Rich says, at first I thought you were able to broadcast in 6K. Yeah, that's right. No, I'm running a 6K. Dave says, viewer minutes are what really matters. I agree, Dave. And even more than that. We'll get into that in a minute. Ken says it's only 5 a.m. for him. So, gee whiz, Ken. Welcome to vMix. Welcome, Streaming Idiots. Gunner's watching from Sweden. Welcome. Glad to have you. And let's see what else. Yeah, we're going to talk numbers. We're going to talk numbers. And we're going to talk significance. Nick says, Happy July. That'll pop up here in just a second. This one's just a little behind. But eventually, yeah, there we go. Eventually it catches up. I don't think vMix Social polls for comments continually. I think it probably polls every second or something like that. So I see that Chris is posted, and that'll appear right up here, right there, right about now. Oh, almost had it. Welcome, Chris. It's only 7 a.m. in New Zealand. He's having his coffee while Gunner is having his nightcap. It's a crazy world we live in, isn't it? Holy cow. And Ken from Australia, where it's 5 a.m., is having his Cheerios. So there you go. And Ken hit the nail on the head. Here it comes. I would rather have 5 viewers who could spend $5,000 with me than 1,000 people who had no money to buy. Ken has hit the nail on the head. He is the winner for today. I don't even need to do a show. Timothy's here from South Africa. Chris is eating his porridge. Porridge. I haven't heard anybody call it porridge since my grandmother. She was raised in the Bahamas, but would frequently visit England. Tim, what do they call porridge in South Africa? Here we call it oatmeal. And Rich says it's a burger lunch. Rich did something really cool over the weekend. You want to tell him, Rich, or shall I? I'll give him a second to think about it and respond. It was really cool. It's a great case. We probably ought to do a show on that, so maybe we shouldn't tell anybody. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. I have been staying up late. I have house guests, which I'm delighted to have, but that means that sometimes I don't I don't even start my evening work until midnight, which means who knows when I get to bed. But that's just the way it is. That's okay. Okay, let's see. Ken says, can you be a guest on my new video podcast? Ken, I'd be delighted. As long as it's not 5 o'clock in the morning. Chris says, yes, rolled oats. There you go. Rich says, you say it eloquently. Okay, well, I'll say it. Hey, Ron's here. Glad to have you. So Rich does jet ski racing, as you guys know, and he flies all over the country doing it. But this past weekend, he did not leave home. He sent gear and had it connected remotely via SRT. And so he did the whole show from home. All the switching, all the streaming, adding all the graphics and what have you remotely. Very cool. Very cool. And he has a beautiful, what would we call it, Rick? A homebrew, maybe a homebrew encoding system. Yep. But I don't want to steal much more of his thunder. I want him to come on. I want you to come on the show and talk about it. That's what I do. Oh, last yawn, I promise. Holy cow, there's got to be some caffeine around here somewhere. I don't have caffeine, but I do have dum-dums. So maybe one of these, but you can't be on a talk show and have a dum-dum. I'd be like Kelly Savalas. All right. Well, let's get ready to go. And Rich says, yes, it's a whole system, not just a box. That's a clue. That's a clue. All righty, so let's see. What do we need to do to make a show happen here? Otis is here. We can really get started now. We've got 3 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, it's time. Sit tight. We'll be right back with the start of another exciting episode. Welcome to Streaming Idiots. Yes, indeedy. You've obviously gotten here by accident. I can't imagine anybody would come here on purpose. But I'm so glad to have you with us today, whether you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, or whether you're watching after the fact. Perhaps you're finding this show on YouTube or Facebook afterwards. Well, we're delighted you are. Of course, we'd love to have you subscribe to us on YouTube. In fact, that's what started the whole show today. We'll come back to that one. But we'd also have to you ever have 3 thoughts arrive at your tongue at the same time, and all 3 of them try to get out at the same time? It doesn't work. We'd love to have you become a member of our Facebook group, Streaming Idiots. You can go to Facebook and just do a search for Streaming Idiots. Jan and Marie set that up. In fact, Marie just joined us. She's in the chat. Hello, Marie. And Jan's here too. Welcome. They set that up, I guess it's been about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago, with the thought that, maybe after a couple of months, we might have 50 people in the group. Well, the group is now approaching 4,000. And it's folks from all over the world who are talking about live streaming, all aspects of live streaming, predominantly live streaming using a software switcher like vMix, of course, our favorite. But, lots of questions, lots of sharing problems, sharing successes, great little community. And when possible, this community meets in person at the National Association of Broadcasters show in Las Vegas. We were supposed to have one a couple of months ago, but the show got canceled, so we didn't have a meetup. So we're due for a meetup. And IBC in this September has been canceled already, or at least pushed back indefinitely. And we were going to try to do another Streaming Idiots meetup there because there's so many idiots in Europe. Not like they aren't in the U.S. That's right. Clint, you didn't miss anything. We just started. So we are delighted to have you here. We hope you'll join in with some of our groups and join our community. It's a lot of fun, and they're really good people. And for the most part, people behave. Yeah, except for that rich guy. I mean, you just never know about him. Anyway, a couple pieces of business here before we get started. So don't go away. I know when I say business, everybody says, click, I'm going to find another video, but don't. Heck, stick around. It'll be worth it. Number one, the show here is just a giant infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. We hope you'll visit our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and it's spelled just like it sounds, and see all the cool stuff we have in our store. Currently, we are, have I got this set up right? You know, you do sets and then you change them, and then things maybe don't work. So I'm not sure if this is going to work. Let's just try. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it filled in the picture frame pretty nicely. This is the Kiloview E1. Actually, this is the E2, which is an HDMI encoder. So you put HDMI input into it, and out the other end comes NDIHX, or it can be set up to do an SRT, i.e. you configure this little box right here, and you ship it to somebody. They plug their camera and mic in, and plug it into the internet and say go, and it sends an SRT feedback to your vMix. Very, very cool. It'll also do an RTMP stream. It might even be able to do all those concurrently. I don't remember. Anyway, they're in our website. If you're interested in something like that, this is the HDMI version, but there's also an SDI version. We have those in stock here in our studio in Fairhope, Alabama, and we're shipping 4 of them out today. So don't be left in the proverbial weeds on this one. The other thing I would mention is that we do have on hand, and again, these are in stock, and that's the key thing because they've been hard to get. The HDMI to USB 3 adapters from Magewell. And it basically, did you see that little glitch right there? It was like something just ran through here really, really quickly. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Anyway, these are in our store too, and these are great if you're in a church and you're saying, do we want to stream? Do we not want to stream? Well, it's $300, and this will get your camera with audio into a laptop or a PC where you can use the vMix Trial Edition for 60 days to test and see if it's something you want to do. And these have really good residual value. If you decide that it's not for you, they're selling on eBay for pretty close to full price because they're hard to get, but we have some. So if you need them, let us know. We'll send them to you. They're in our store at easternshorebroadcasting.com, where we also have, not to be left out, that's right, our X-Keys XK80. As you can see, it's configured like a traditional, like nothing you've ever seen. It's not traditional at all, but it has all the buttons in all the right places for me to run the show today. So if you need those, they are in our store too. And in fact, we've got one of those going out with a PC we're building. I think they're coming by Sunday to pick it up. Yeah, there goes that racing dog again. Anyway, okay, so enough business. Oh, the last piece of business, of course, is that we design and build PCs for live streaming. So if we can help you or your company or your church or your school or your sports team with something like that, we'd be delighted to. We love working with houses of worship. We've got 4 systems going for houses of worship right now. We've got one system going into a big football stadium to power the instant replay for the video board out in the outfield. And then we've got another one heading to a great school in Connecticut that's going to be a 4K screamer. So yes, it's a lot of fun. Love building them. Actually, we love building them, but we hate shipping them because they're so much fun to play with. Oh my gosh. It's like, okay, I guess I can, the people have called 3 times. I guess I can ship them their system now. Anyway, there's information about that on our website at easternshorебroadcasting.com. We made a small change in our setup, and I can't show it to you, but I can tell you about it. Some of it we did 3 weeks ago. Some of it we did since the last show. But I'm here at the control desk today because the studio is taken up with building PCs. My apologies on that. So we're not using our regular set. This is actually a physical set. I mean, that's an actual picture. That one's an actual picture. This is not an actual brick wall, but it is that vinyl facade that makes it look like a brick wall. Because that's what we're doing with our control desk. We used to have a green screen behind us here, but that didn't work out very well for lots of reasons. Not because I don't love green screens, because I do. And when you have a good green screen, nobody notices. It's when you don't do it right that people notice. Anyway, so the idea is that, oh my gosh, I saw Rick Mitchell's post in the chat and lost my train of thought. No, what we did here is we replaced our mic. We had an Audio Technica ATR 2100, which is about a $70 mic. It's USB and it's XLR. It's real versatile, but it was beginning to get a little crackly. So we've set it aside so we can test it and put the same mic in here that we have over in the studio, and that's the Audio Technica AT897. The 897 is a shotgun mic. It's about yay long. It's either phantom powered, which is the way both these are, or you can put a little battery in it. So it'll work with any mixer that's not phantom powered. And we had it mounted up here with gaffer tape. And in fact, I want to do an experiment. Maybe you can help me. And it seemed like every time I touched the desk, it was picked up in the mic. So you can tell me if you heard that tick, tick, tick as I thud, thud, thud. Rich says that's why it sounds better today. Well, part of the reason why it sounds better is I've been tweaking it. But the other thing that I did today that was different from last week is I got a shock mount for it. And so it's now cradled in this shock mount that hopefully is going to take up some of the vibration that might come, because it's one of these telescoping arm deals, and it's bolted to the work surface here. And so it extends up over me, and it's just out of the camera shot. Let's see, right. Oh man, it is just out of the camera shot right there. So there it is. You can hear me. And I really like it. I have learned to use it on the set, and I have one at my desk. And in fact, I've got another one on order just to have on hand, because you never know when you need an extra mic. So that's a change in the setup today. Other than that, we're using the Logitech C920 coming in USB. We're using vMix 23, the Pro Edition. So I've got all the bells and whistles. We're a vMix reseller, so if you're interested in vMix, you can buy it from us and get tech support. We have people call all the time and want tech support. I was like, dude, you should have bought it from us. It would be free. Anyway, that's the setup for today. And so we're here at the control desk for another week. Anyway, let's talk about numbers. Get out your pen and paper. Well, no, it's probably not that. No, sit back and relax. That's what it is. This is a sit back and relax discussion. Something happened to us at Eastern Shore Broadcasting yesterday. Our YouTube channel, which was established, I think, July 2012, so 8 years ago this month, just received its 6,000th subscriber. 6,000th subscriber. Rich, you will not need your calculator. You might need your fingers and toes. 6,000 subscribers in 12 years. So that's about 500 a year. That's what I would call kind of organic, slow, steady growth. And it's a milestone, and it's something to be proud of and honored by and all that kind of stuff. But The reality of it is probably that of those 6,000 people, a bunch of them have moved on. They, in 12 years, and there have been more subscribing lately than ever before. I think because of the virus, a lot of people are staying home looking for stuff to do. They're watching video, or they're trying to figure out how to live stream, and so they're watching our video. Otis, we're not gated or compressed. Well, we are using the NS1 noise filter, which is kind of a compressor. And that's turned up to 50% because I've got a server right here. But the 6,000 subscribers, it was a high watermark, because I remember when vMix had 6,000 subscribers, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is a goal to be striven for. Strived? That's a goal to hope for. 6,000 subscribers. Now they're at 42,000, but again, they've seen a big jump in the last couple of months too. But the reality is most of those people have moved on. They are not watching streaming idiots anymore. Maybe they're not interested in live streaming anymore. Maybe they just thought, oh, this is somebody who can tell me about this, and we disappointed them because we never ever did another show on that subject. And so they didn't go unsubscribe, which I guess some people do. Yeah, Stroven. It's Stroven. Thank you very much. But the other measurement is that we achieved, I think, not in the last week, maybe it's been the last couple of weeks, but it's been coming, and we've been watching as we hit our millionth viewer on YouTube. And that's pretty cool. But how long? What's a view? 3 seconds? They pop into the video, say, that's a boring old guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He talks too slowly, and boom, they're off. But that's a view. Hey, I got their view. That's all I wanted, right? No, I want to propose that we flip those numbers upside down. Now, if you're selling advertising, yes, you want eyeballs, you want views. What you really want is watch minutes. But that's a subject for another show. We're not going to talk about watch minutes here. We're going to talk about my favorite subject about live streaming is to use your live stream in order to build your brand, and not necessarily advertise for somebody else to build their brand, but using live streaming to build your brand. And when you use live streaming to build your brand, it depends on what your goals are. But let me lay out my goals, and maybe they'll parallel your goals. We're a small company. We are in a fast-moving technology field. We have been in this field since before this field had any grass in it. It was just rocks and twigs back in the day. And we used the medium, live streaming, to build our brand about live streaming. The Streaming Idiot Show. The Streaming Idiot Show, as I mentioned earlier, is just a giant infomercial for Eastern Shore Broadcasting, our company, where we design and build live streaming PCs and sell all sorts of live streaming gear, including vMix software, the absolutely best live streaming production software in the whole world. I would say universe, but I haven't traveled the whole universe. I haven't traveled the whole world, but nevertheless, I'm getting off the subject. Our goal was to increase our business. Being a small business, my plan is not to sell, $10 million worth of gear this year. My plan is not even to sell $1 million worth of gear this year. My plan is to make strategic relationships with not necessarily strategic people, but with regular folks who need to do what we do, and who need what we sell, and who need what we build. And so I have tried to put myself in front of where they might be standing. and this is getting a little bit more in depth than I thought it might, but stay with me here. Stay with me. There's some good nuggets here. YouTube's the #2 search engine, at least last time I checked. People want to find out about stuff. How do I build shelves? How do I fix my car? They go to YouTube. How do I live stream? They go to YouTube. I have, golly, I haven't checked lately. I don't know, 300 or 400 videos out there dating back 10 years. 10 years? 8 years. 8 years, sorry. All right, 8 years. Actually been doing it longer than 8 years, but YouTube channel was established in 2012. And so there's a lot for people to find. People want to search a subject about live streaming. Chances are one of these Streaming Idiot shows will show up in their search results in YouTube. And that's what I call putting myself in the path of traffic. Putting myself in the path of traffic. And this is just random traffic, but it's not random traffic. It's people that are searching for what I do. Or they're searching for an answer, and in the process of that, they find out about what I do. Had a call 2 days ago. Tom, this is so-and-so. I won't mention your name or his name or her name. Caught one of your videos on YouTube last week about such and such, and thought I'd give you a call. I'm surprised you're taking my call. Well, there's nobody else to take the call, but that's neither here nor there. The idea was that my video, whatever video it was that I did 4 years ago, is still out there working for me, and it's giving me an opportunity to be in front of them, or in this case, to be in front of him or her, and to make my case. My case is I didn't just fall off the back of the turnip truck, although sometimes it sounds like it. I was born at night, but not last night. You know all those sayings. I've got some experience that I can bring to the table, and I think I can help you. And I'm a pretty friendly guy, and that's the whole spiel right there. And Tommy Willis, Tommy, one day we're going to meet in person. But the idea is that I am going to use this medium to develop. This is crazy, but stay with me. I'm going to use this medium to develop one-on-one relationships. You say, Tom, that's absolutely nuts. YouTube does not do one-on-one relationships. Facebook, maybe a little bit, but just, that's not the medium. But I think you're wrong. If that's your argument, I think you're absolutely wrong. It is it's a one-to-one relationship, but it's mostly one way. I'll give you that. But when somebody watches one of my videos, they're watching me, warts and all. I mean, the show. We don't go back and redo anything. If we make a mistake during the show, it stays in the show. If the UPS guy comes to the door in the middle of the show, that's still there in the show 4 years later. It's real. And I think there's huge value to the authenticity that comes with that, because people are searching for life partners, friends, businesses, companies that they can trust. And I think the very best way to be trustworthy is to be authentic. And this medium, this live streaming medium, gives you and me the opportunity, doesn't mean we're going to be able to pull it off, but it gives us the opportunity to be authentic to our future friends, people that we haven't met yet, but a lot of them have met us. And, I was talking to somebody on the phone last week. Tom, I feel like I know you. I've watched so many of your videos. And I'm thinking, I feel sorry for you right there. Poor guy. Although, what was it? The one guy called and said, I've watched so many of your videos, but I have to admit, they were on YouTube and I did them at double speed because you talk so slowly. Well, I talk slowly because people like Tommy just, they need to. He needs to make sure he gets every word. No, I'm just teasing. So the idea is that we're building one-to-one relationships. They're one-way one-to-one relationships, but they're with individual people. Now, I got a call this morning from an individual person that works for I can't say the name, but how can I say it? Oh, golly. If you watch the financial news and you see that there is a ticker going across and that the stock market is up or the stock market is down, and it talks about this exchange, and this exchange. I got a call from one of those exchanges, and it was one guy, and I don't even know that he saw the video. I'm not quite sure how he called, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is one guy from a really major group reached out to me, little old me down here in Fairhope, Alabama, population 25,000 on a good day. Actually, population swells to about 300,000 sometimes when we have these festivals, but that's not, yeah. Just say what the name rhymes with. The name rhymes with heart attack. How about that? But not really. That's a terrible thing to say. Terrible thing to say. It's one-on-one. It's not only is it one-on-one, but it doesn't need to be huge numbers of one-on-one. I had somebody call me out of the blue, and we talked for a little bit, and then he introduced me to somebody else, that introduced me to somebody else who just happened to work for a major news outlet. And we talked about, helping them with their live streaming portion of their major news outlet. But it started with just that one person. And let me digress for just a second. This is a great story. It's probably true, but it's not a story that I know of, but I've heard it. A car salesman working at a car dealership. And this guy drives in in this old pickup truck. He gets out, and he's got his overalls on and his work boots and kind of not a nasty looking t-shirt, but not something clean and fresh. And he's walking to the door, and you know how car salesmen are. They take turns getting the next person in the door. And so this car guy turns to the other car guy and said, you want him? The guy said, okay, I'll take him, because it was this guy's turn, but he didn't want any part of this. Well, it turns out, of course, that the guy, you can imagine the rest of the story. This guy goes over and talks with him, and before you know it, he sits down and signs him up for a brand new Cadillac, and comes back. And the guy that turned him over was just, it's like, what? And he said, oh yeah, he was just working out on his farm and didn't want to take the time to get cleaned up, and he needed a birthday present for his wife. So he bought her a brand new Cadillac. But we don't know when people call us out of the blue or send us text messages or emails or whatever. We don't know their background. We don't know we don't know the influence that they carry in their world. We don't know the importance or the abilities that they have in their world. I was talking with a manufacturer of cameras not too long ago, and we were talking about marketing, which I love to talk about. And I said, I think unintentionally I have pitched myself towards a different audience than most people would. Most people are looking for, that was it 25 to 34-year-old group, because that's where all the advertisers, they want to reach those folks. And my group, not to be offensive to any of you that are not in it, but my group is generally a 50 and older group. We have more fun anyway. Because us 50 and olders, we have the ability to write a check for things we want a lot more than just a young kid that's just, she's just started her family, or just started her career, or just graduated from college, or just began to paying off student loans, or whatever the situation is for that group down there. In age is what I'm talking about when I say down there, age group wise. Whereas the age group up here has the ability, talked to somebody this morning who said, yeah, I want to talk about a PC for my church. I'm going to be buying it, but the church has to go through the process of approving it. But I'm going to be the one writing the check, because he could. And he had seen the videos. We had developed a one-to-one relationship, which was only one way. And he had determined this is somebody that was authentic, somebody that wasn't too shiny. Sorry, wrong button. I just tickled myself there. Somebody that wasn't too shiny, wasn't too perfect, somebody that was real, that was going to be, somebody they could talk to. And by gosh, that works. Now, what it doesn't do is it doesn't scale. It doesn't scale well. So, by the way, if I've mentioned you in one of these stories, and I've got, bless his heart, I've got this guy who's called me 6 times in the last 2 days, and I haven't been able to take his call because this little concept that I'm working doesn't scale well. I'm busier than my scaling allows. So we're changing how we're doing some things here in order to be able to catch phone calls a little better. I know what he wants, and I can't talk to him yet. I was doing a show, and before that I was building a PC, and I had to talk with somebody about what they need in their PC, and it's a matter of priorities and first things first. And somebody that has already pledged themselves to me to be a client deserves my first attention, as opposed to going out and getting more new clients when I can't even take care of the clients I already have. You know that story. But nevertheless, let's get off of that. Otis says, "Who are you calling old?" Well, I'm calling me old, but actually, Otis, I'm calling me aged, kind of like a fine wine, and with aging comes wisdom, and comes the ability to know kind of how things are going to work in advance, because you've kind of been there. And I know in having done this for a while that authentic works, that one-to-one, or that perception of one-to-one works, and that other person on the other side may show up in a rusty pickup truck and may show up in dirty overalls, but that doesn't mean that they can't be a good client. Golly, I wish I could name names and tell you specific stories of people from the past that that called up and just sounded like a local yokel, or like some sort of hippie or something, and turned out to be great clients, even what I would call friends. And that's through this medium. So for those of you that have stuck around to the end of this show, I want to applaud you, number one. And number two, I want to give you the secret. Yes, all those folks that turn the channel, they don't get the secret. So Tom, tell us what the secret is. Tell us what the secret of getting 1 million views and 6,000 subscribers and 4,000 people in your Streaming Idiots group, or in our Streaming Idiots group. Sorry about that. And the secret is, that's not the secret. The secret is not the numbers. The secret is the individual. Because that individual that's before you may hold the key to your future. Maybe your financial future, maybe your emotional future, maybe your spiritual future, I don't know. But that person may hold the key, and they may not even know they hold the key. Yeah. So my encouragement for you is to value each and every person that comes into your life, both professionally as well as personally, and don't make any assumptions. Don't make any assumptions. You had to watch the whole show for that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's just stupid wisdom, or wisdom from a formerly stupid. Well, wisdom from an idiot. How about that? Is it possible to have wisdom from an idiot? Yep. All right, that's it. We're going to tie up the show. We'll move into post show. If you got questions or want to chat, I'm loving it. We'll be right back. Oh, by the way, go to our website, buy something, please. Okay, and now we are in the official post show. Woo, 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 woo. Ken says, one testimonial from one client has won me hundreds of thousands of dollars. There you go. There you go, Ken. Thank you very much. I'll take that as an amen. Chris says, we're a community. Wisdom, definitely. Yep. HBJ says, are you generating any income from the channel at 6K? Actually, yes. Just in the last several months, we've started to monetize some of our videos. And and YouTube informed me when I checked this morning that in the last 28 days, we have raised $3.05. $3.05. Oh my gosh. But I haven't seen a check yet. So, maybe we have, maybe we haven't. But the idea is not to YouTube, we don't do the videos to make money on the videos. We do the videos to build relationships with people that we can do business with. So there you go. Let's see. Tommy says, folks, this is the guy that came to my rescue when lightning destroyed both of my computers. He's real. Oh, that's right. I remember that, Tommy. And I've got my little bugle guy around here somewhere. I can't lay my hands on him right now. Tommy sent me a minion as a present. Marie says, I've hugged Tom. He did not feel like an AI. He felt like a human. Right. And the cash is pouring in. Well, it's not so much the cash, it's the relationships. It really is. Relationships. Maggie says, Tom, one of these days when you have an extra 10 minutes, we need to get you back on Spiny Talk. Maggie, I'm loving that. I love Spiny Talk. There we go. I will do Spiny Talk any day of the week, especially Friday. But really what I miss is hanging out with you and Miranda and Tim and Dan. Remember that time when we went to the Venetian and had dinner? That was fun. Ken says, some people in the streaming world would say that virtual sets make your show look fake. What are your thoughts? Well, I've heard those people say that. And I could not agree and disagree with them more at the same time. If you notice that a virtual set looks fake, then I agree. It doesn't do a good job for you. But what about the ones you don't notice? The ones that are so good, it never even gets you on your radar. You're just plugged into the content. That's when the virtual set does its job. That's when the virtual set is I think, probably done professionally. I love virtual sets, and I think their potential is huge. And I'm so excited about the way vMix does it, and I can't wait to get more into virtual sets in the future as time allows. I think it's a tremendous tool, especially as we get into 4K and maybe even 8K cameras. Because in vMix, you can use that virtual set to do a virtual zoom and pan and tilt, I guess, also. And so when you do that, you can still maintain high definition, high resolution. Yeah. Tom's a single air. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Rich. I'm a single air. Chinese become good at making copies. Oh, you mean like me? Yeah, Maggie, I miss you guys too. Daniel says many people can't use virtual sets properly, and then it looks awful. Yeah, that's right. It's like any tool. There are people that can't use cameras properly, can't use microphones properly, can't use lighting properly. Can't use graphics properly. It's an art, but it's also a science, and it's also something that experience makes the difference on. I mean, you look at my early shows, holy cow. Don't go back and look at my early shows. Maggie, you and Miranda could say, the shows that you guys did very, very, very at the very, very beginning compared to now, holy cow, no. You look at people that are doing really good stuff right now, like some of the stuff coming out of PTZ Optics. Their early shows they were as bad as some of mine. Would I recommend a virtual set supplier? Ken, that's a good question. I don't recommend anybody that I haven't personally done business with or used their product. And in some cases, after I use a product, I'm not going to recommend it. But I just haven't used anybody's product, and I haven't gotten as deep into it as I feel like I need to. So I can't give you a other than to point and think. I think that vMix has got some virtual sets, or they used to have, that you could download and use with vMix, and I think they came from a particular provider that vMix liked. Maggie says, I know you've helped many of our X-Key customers with their entire setup. We appreciate you in this group. Congrats on the 6K. Thank you. Maggie, full disclosure, works for PI Engineering, the ones that design and build the X-Keys. And, truth be told, Maggie is really the power behind the throne on that one. So Rich says, with all the conventions canceled, is there talk of a virtual roundtable with key players, i.e. vMix, PTZ Optics, X-Keys, etc.? Rich, some folks have done that. What was it? I think PTZ Optics did one a couple of months ago called NAB Hacked. At least I think that was them, Stream Geeks. And there have been other folks that have attempted to do the same thing. And my guess would be, the longer we go with the kind of absence of trade shows and conferences and conventions, places where we actually can meet in person, I think we'll see more and more of that. I'm going to be in one actually the end of this month, 4 weeks from today. Wow, I better get moving. The Stream Geeks is sponsoring another worship summit where we're talking about all things live streaming from a worship perspective, and I get to be the keynoter. So I'm really excited about that. And I may use a little bit of what we talked about today in that too. Let's go back and get some of those other comments. Let's see. Rich says he's watching in 4K. Oh, that's interesting. Gunner says it's probably some important people are in the chat too. Yeah, I would agree with that. Marie said I had someone from space on my show. Did I have somebody from space on my show? I'm not sure about that. Final Focus Production says repeat business and referrals will always be the most profitable. I like the sentiment in that. I don't always agree with that, because what I find is that sometimes, especially clients that I've developed a real relationship with, a real friendship with, sometimes I will give them a good deal because they're in a jam and they need something. And it's like, okay, here, use this coupon code that I just created for you. So yeah, in fact, I've got oh no, I can't tell it because it's unlimited. But I have a coupon code that you can use on my website. Never mind. I'm sorry I even brought that up. Forget it. HJB said we actually have a travel nurse from Alabama with us right now. Wow. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, Tom Sinclair is virtual AI. I guess that's artificial intelligence, which would be kind of an interesting juxtaposition of words, a virtual artificial intelligence. Ken says they get to know, like, and trust you. Good words. Know, like, and trust. It does start with that, Ken. It starts with knowing. Because you can't get to trusting without knowing. And you probably don't trust people you don't like. Yep. Ken is a sharp guy. Ken says there are only 500 CEOs of the top 500 companies, but they spend billions. That's right. There you go. Let's keep going back in the chat and see what we missed. Rick says he's moving his church system today, the permanent mounts, and he has to reset his presets. Oh. Well, I always hate in advance moving things around, and I always love it later because it gives me a chance to make improvements. Ken says, why the change of set from a virtual TV studio look to a living room brick wall backdrop? Very simple. The studio over there is filled up with PCs that are under construction because we have filled up the workshop in the back. And so we just had to spread things out a little bit more. And so it's not usable right now. It's kind of one of those things like, how long can I keep it like that? How long can I not be using that part of the studio, the set? Okay, let's see. Marie said a while back, it's 9 p.m. here. Is it okay to tell the neighbor that 12 hours of angle grinding is enough? Yeah, I would have told him 6 hours ago. Living Water CVA from Chesapeake, Virginia. All right. Our family has an old home up in Chesapeake on one of the side rivers. All right, let's go back to the top of the comments here and see what we missed. With all these, Otis, that's right. Otis did a Streaming Idiots meetup, at least one. And your wife won a prize. I think she won a book, didn't she? Win a book? John says, Chinese don't make cheap copies anymore. Now they invent, design, produce from the ground up. Well, they steal and redesign and produce from the ground up using virtually slave labor. So, yeah. And the Western world may be in big trouble, but I think China's in big trouble too. But let's don't talk politics. Tommy says that AI cannot talk in Southern. I'll have to check if my GPS has got a Southern accent or an option for that. Jan says the Chinese even do ground scientific research. Well, there you go. And Daniel agrees. Ken says, how do you choose your virtual set? Has a TV news look to it? I like your choice because I'm fed up watching people in their bedrooms. Lacks credibility. But it's authentic. My virtual set is I think it's a 20-second loop, an MOV file that was given to me by Dr. Charles Campbell of East Columbia, South Carolina, who was a avid fan of the show in its early days. I think he has passed away. I haven't heard from him in a number of years. And he shared that with me. He was a professional journalist. He wrote 20 or 30 books on a variety of subjects. Brilliant man. And he called me up one day. He said, Tom, he had a deep voice, Tom, I'm going to send you something. Can I have your email address, please? I said, okay, sure. Can I help you? No, I'm going to send you something. I don't remember what we were using. Probably we were using a picture as a backdrop. And he had found this this backdrop, this 20-second MOV file, and sent it to me. We've been using it ever since. And the opening Jaws of Death sequence and the closing Jaws of Death sequence were a gift from Martin Kay. So, you know, so much of the success of this show is really a community effort. Really is. Oda says, yes, it was a book. I don't remember what the book was about. It may have been, well, I just don't remember. Jan says, they also steal designs, but for the most part, we handle it to them ourselves. Well, yeah. Intellectual rights are not always recognized internationally. Head full of bricks. Ah, love that. Nice digital gift. Well, there you go. We had some nice gifts at the plan for this year's Streaming Idiots meetup. We were going to do koozies again because I like the koozies. A koozie, you know, is something whenever you're going to have a cold drink and you're putting a koozie around it, it kind of means you're going to go outside, you know, or you want it to stay cold for a while. So maybe it's a cold, maybe it's a cold IBC root beer, and you just want to savor every part of it. And that's the kind of the feeling that I want the Streaming Idiots meetups to have. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you know, we can savor these kinds of things. So that's what koozies mean to me. Yep, koozies. But we were going to give away, what else were we going to give away? I think we were going to do some T-shirts. We were going to do, what was it? The other thing. Doggone it. I had already hired a host and hostess to meet everybody at the curb outside of Scott Whitney's studio in tuxedo and gown, and welcome everybody in and ask them the password. You remember that? 3 years ago. Yeah. No. Well, it was 2.5 years, just over 2 years ago. Yeah, we had the Las Vegas dancing girls that met you. They weren't in dancing girl outfits, but they were dancing girls and cabaret girls or whatever they're called. And they met folks at the curb and got them their name tag and their gift bag. And then they came up with the idea of asking people for their passwords. This was to get into the Streaming Idiots meetup. And, you know, people would say, well, Tom didn't say there was a password. And they say, well, but you know the password, don't you? You know the password. And they'd say, Streaming Idiots. They say, yes, go on in. Next person, you know the password. vMix, yes, go on in. So it didn't matter what they said, they went in. They knew the password. I thought that was great. We'll probably do that again. By that time, you know, the people that remember it will get a chuckle out of it, and the people that don't remember it will get a chuckle out Head Full of Bricks says, I was Persona Enhancement Pro, but rebranded. I might have stolen your idea, or maybe you inspired it. Well, by all means. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. You take a little of this, a little of that, and you create something that's different, but is it really new? Maybe it is. But then again, there are things that work consistently, regardless of, the state of the economy, the markets, all that stuff. Things like treating people fairly, being kind. Those two things just go so far. And you look in any industry, and people that treat people fairly and are kind, are friendly, those people are excelling, unless they're just idiots, of course. Ta-da! Oh my gosh. Rich says, LOL, it would have been so cool with the meetup. Yes. Otis wants to know, Tommy, does howdy qualify for Southern talk? Howdy. Oh, Tommy says, okay. Says Otis, howdy is Texan. Howdy. I don't think I've ever said howdy. At least not as a normal course. Maybe I did. To walk in on my wife and say, howdy, hun, but it would not be normal. No, I think, Otis, what you're looking for is the Southern colloquial, how y'all? How y'all doing? There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for indulging me today in my my talk about numbers. If you've got something out of it, I appreciate that. I hope you'll pass it along. And if I can help you with anything live streaming. Oh, Frank B is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Somewhere someone is developing Southern AI. It's probably already done. Probably already done. Other than these live streams, how do you connect with potential customers? Do you have a lead magnet? My philosophy is that I am going to market really, really intensely so that the sales process is painfully easy. That is, that by the time somebody comes to me, they are already sold. And all we need to do is complete the transaction. I remember growing up and working in business, and people would call with the hard sales pitch, and then I remember being in sales myself and just saying, I'm not going to be like that. And enjoyed a good deal of success. Yep. But basically putting myself in the path of traffic, trying to figure out who my customer is, who my favorite customer is, my perfect customer, and just, parking my car outside their house, at the end of their driveway, so they have to run into me in order to get out of their driveway. I want to be where they are. If they were people that used a particular type of napkin, I would make sure I had a lot of those napkins on hand. What? That doesn't make any sense. Well, think about it for a while. I want to be where they are. And the other thing is, and I did this a lot early on, I haven't done it as much lately, but in the early days of live streaming, I say the early days, in a lot of ways we're still in the early days, but in the very early days of live streaming, knowledge of what was going on was a premium. And there were people that would hold it and sell it, and then there were people that would give it away, and then there were people like me that would give a little bit of it away and then sell the rest. And I guess we're still doing that now. I mean, the knowledge that goes into the PCs that we build is just built up over years and years of live streaming. And we'll talk about some of that, but there is our secret sauce that we don't really share with anybody. But in the early days, giving away information that people were searching for, and basically trying to figure, well, and we still do that, like the show we did last week on yet another tutorial on how to connect vMix and Zoom, because people are out there begging to and I get phone calls of people that say, can you teach me how to connect Zoom and vMix? I was like, dude, go to the internet, go to YouTube, do a search for Zoom and vMix, and you'll get it. But some things have changed, and so it was good to have it out there. But if you're a sheep, go where sheep are. If you're a goat, go where goats are. Or maybe the other way around, but yeah, you got that. Yep, Otis says Facebook has a conference call option. Yep. That'll be fun. It'll be fun to play with. And, we'll try to figure out how to get vMix into it. Tommy says, the problem with this type of marketing is there are so many types of live streaming. Well, that's true, Tommy. And what I've done is I've picked my markets. The first market I picked was sports, because I thought it was a natural. Every team needs to be live streaming their sporting events. And I did that. That was my first foray into it, and did it quite a bit. The second was houses of worship, and that's still big with us. Especially now with the pandemic going on. I mean, sports are shut down, but houses of worship are trying to figure out how to continue to worship when they can't be always physically present. And then the third market that we pursued was talk shows. And so we have a lot of clients in all three of those fields. And we developed a lot of expertise in those fields. And again, it's just, it's the old, sugar water and flies. We're the sugar water because we've got the knowledge, and the flies will buzz around. It's the old bees and honey kind of thing. Yep. And Daniel says, and if you're a border collie, you make sure the sheep are in the right place. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. All right, folks, got to go back. Got to make some folks happy besides y'all. But thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to let the music roll out there. Let's see. Can we do that from here? Yeah, here we go. But I will catch all of you guys next week. Oh, and next week we have a guest. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. Take care.